Not just the toxic circle of life. It's because they cause cancer and death. It's because PFAS cause cancer and death and disability. And that is expensive in the United States, which is something Republicans don't talk about. Because again, remember, all of this is because of cost, right? They cut all the funding so we could update our water infrastructure because of cost. And that is what the manufacturers and the municipalities and all the Republican states were saying. It was too expensive to update the water treatment facilities to eliminate PFAS. But here's the deal. When you eliminate PFAS, you eliminate all the other toxic shit that's in our water too. That far outweighs the cost that it would, the cost incurred by updating the water treatment centers. So counties where drinking water surpassed recommended maximum levels of PFAS had higher incidences of digestive cancer, endocrine cancer, respiratory cancer, mouth cancer, and throat cancers. Increases in incidence ranged from slightly elevated to 2% to substantially elevated at 33%. Right? The increased incidence of mouth and throat cancers linked to PFBS, which by the way is one of the PFAS compounds that Trump is now saying that they're not going to regulate at all. Okay? Males in counties with contaminated drinking water had a higher incidence of leukemia, as well as cancers of the urinary system, brain, and soft tissues compared to males living in areas with uncontaminated water. Females had a higher incidence of cancers in the thyroid, mouth, and throat, and soft tissues. Based on the latest available EPA data, the researchers estimate that PFAS contamination of drinking water contributes at minimum 6,864 cancer cases per year. Cancer is expensive, y'all. So the Republicans and the chemical manufacturers that fought all of these restrictions on PFAS, their argument was that this would just be too expensive to remove PFAS. And that's true. The EPA actually estimated that it would cost around $1.548 billion per year to implement. Okay? But what all of those guys fail to mention, the net positive benefit to society is $1.549 billion per year. Because healthy people make better workers. Healthy people, the quantified health benefits include fewer cancers, lower incidences of heart attacks and strokes, and reduced birth complications. All of that's crazy expensive, y'all. That's a drain on society. Right? The infertility caused by PFAS cost $37.6 million per year in the U.S. According to extremely outdated and underestimated numbers, the EPA estimated that these water restrictions would save the lives of, at minimum, 31,200 people per year. The quantified costs associated with PFAS exposures are significant, encompassing both direct health costs and broader societal costs. Studies estimate that PFAS exposure in the U.S. could cost a minimum of $5.52 billion, as much as $62.6 billion annually due to increased medical bills and decreased worker productivity. That's a lot more than updating your water treatment, your municipal water treatment centers, so it takes out PFAS along with lead and disinfection byproducts that are in there now. Right? Hypothyroidism, which is what I have, caused by PFAS, $1.26 billion annually in the United States. That's almost as much as it would be just to update the water treatment system right there. Kidney cancer, $354 million in costs, including 2,000 deaths and 7,000 illnesses. Bladder cancer, $380 million in costs, including 7,300 illnesses and 2,600 deaths. And guess what? PFAS, they weaken your immune system, and the areas that had higher amounts of PFAS in their water supply, guess what? They also had higher amounts of COVID deaths and long COVID. How much does long COVID cost our society? Well, it's so great that you asked. It's so great that you asked. The economic cost is estimated to be between $2 billion and $6.56 billion annually. That's a lot more than just updating our water treatment facilities. And the fact of the matter is, when you fix the water quality in this country, you're taking out all the other contaminants that's in our water, a lot of which is actually disinfection byproducts, meaning in many places they're disinfecting the water with really high amounts of these chemicals in order to meet water safety standards, when instead they could just be properly filtering the water and you wouldn't need those chemicals to disinfect to begin with.